The time has come. Hello, my little filmer dudes. Oh, wow. Let's see about this. Hello, my little filmer dudes. My name is Ivan Montero, and thank you for joining me on my journey to watch everything. I don't know why I was staring at my microphone the whole time, but I was. We have been waiting for news about the new DC Slate, now run by Peter Safran and James Gunn, although everyone seems to be forgetting that Peter Safran exists and seems to be just James Gunn. Honestly, it just seems to be like just James Gunn. It's just James Gunn. Just James. For those of you who understand that reference, please let me know in the comments below if you understood that reference. Excuse me. But yes, apparently the first phase of the DC movie slate is going to be called Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. I am nervous. I've already heard some things that are going to be like a couple things that are going to be part of this. Like I heard the titles for Batman, and I heard that Viola Davis is a show is coming, but I think that's pretty much the only things I've heard. So let's go ahead and dive into this together. I'm very nervous. I am with Grace Randolph. I've been keeping up with this because of Grace Randolph, so if you've not seen her stuff, she is very knowledgeable, and I like to keep up with things because of her. But I agree with her. I think that it should be a completely new, just a complete reboot, and they shouldn't even like dabble with like Elseworlds or other things. So we'll see how things go. Because that was the exact same problem as before. They're like, oh, we're going to do Elseworlds here and Elseworlds there, and we're going to have a DCU and a DCEU, and we're going to have this and we're going to have that, and everyone's like, please just stop existing. So let's go ahead, watch this together, and discuss after.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn.
Hi, James.
I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out.
That was the same problem as before.
First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love, that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. Okay. So, Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes.
You've written all the episodes, James? You're doing everything.
Is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action.
Is this like the concept art? I would watch a show like that.
This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan.
Nice.
We have a few other lanterns covered in there.
I hate Hal Jordan.
A terrestrial
I'm going to get ostracized for saying that,
which is
but
almost
he's
like
so freaking lame.
With a
so
couple
lame.
Of Green Lanterns who are space cops.
I don't care. Hate me for it if you want, but that's my opinion.
In it, they discover a terrifying mystery.
But to unify all of the fans, I guess they had to do Hal and John. But where's Guy? Where's all the rest?
The Authority is a passion project.
The Authority?
It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters. We are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very
all of these are very
superheroes.
Very much
We're doing a
Gunn's
television
rally.
series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of
Game of Thrones.
The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them.
I have a picture to show you about The Brave and the Bold, but this is because I told my boss, I was like, The Brave and the Bold, and they're just like, Booster Gold TV series.
Really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series.
Nathan Fillion.
One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about. A very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting.
Can't get mad at James. Can't be upset with James. James, just look at him.
With you guys on the screen.
He's just excited.
Thank you so much.
He's excited. He's genuine. He really wants to do, and the thing is, like, sure, he has a style, whatever, but, like, I mean, James Gunn has already proved time and time again that he's a very versatile storyteller, with Guardians of the Galaxy, The Suicide Squad, Brightburn, Peacemaker. Okay, a couple notes. Whatever that creatures thing was at the beginning, it's really interesting that they're choosing to call this Gods and Monsters, because they are literally focusing on just gods and monsters, aside from Booster Gold and Batman. But pretty much everything else is gods and monsters. So they're really going into this divinity and dark monster horror-esque right from the get-go. They are jumping the gun. I'm pretty sure someone has made that joke before, but let's go ahead and make a trend that hashtag jump the gun, or jumping the gun. Hashtag jumping the gun. Because I really feel like they are jumping the gun with a couple of these projects. Specifically, Swamp Thing, Supergirl, and honestly, The Authority. I don't really know who these people are, but if it's up to anybody to introduce obscure characters that not really many people know about, it's James. He's the one who can absolutely do it. I mean, The Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy. He has successfully brought a lot of characters to our general knowledge. So I'm really not worried about this whole Elseworlds thing. I mean, I am, of course. I mean, that's why we're here discussing this, because they tried to do this whole Elseworlds thing with the DC Extended Universe, and it failed horribly. And now we're here with James Gunn and Peter Safran running things, because this is where we have come to. But again, if anybody can do it, I think James is the one who can do it. So I am worried about this Elseworlds ordeal, because I don't think there should be 2 or 3 of the same character running about. Because, I mean, listen. There's going to be Joker. There's going to be the Batman. And now there's going to be Batman Brave and the Bold. That's 3 different Batman-esque related things. 3 different Batman franchises. It's a poor idea. I think that was a bad idea to begin with. They should have either said, sorry, Matt, you are either gonna either play along or get out. Sorry, man. This is our studio. But James is a friendly individual, and he likes to make friends and not burn bridges, and he likes to find solutions for everything. So if they're able to educate the general public about Elseworlds, and they're able to really, really convey that these things that exist, maybe with Gal Gadot, maybe with Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller as their current roles, those can be Elseworlds because they're Snyderverse stuff. So it might be a little bit of a soft reboot. I think James is just going to want to keep who he wants to keep and just subtly just put them into his own universe and call it anew. But he did say that this is just the first part of chapter 1. It is called a chapter, not a phase. So good job, James Gunn, for being different. But there are going to be things like the Viola Davis show, which I'm actually okay with this because I love Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. I think she is a great Amanda Waller. I think there's many actresses out there who can be a stunning Amanda Waller if given that chance. And I would have, I think, appreciated to see a new take. However, I am very, very happy that we get to see more Viola Davis because I love Viola Davis ever so much. So no complaints there. Just the one that, what the frick? He mentioned Superman Legacy. That's going to be coming out July 2025 in 2.5 years. We already know that he was writing it. Who's going to direct it? We don't know. A lot of people are like, oh, we don't want you to write or direct it because of your Brightburn movie. But listen, that was supposed to be what it was. I'm excited for this one. Like I said, I think James Gunn is a really excellent storyteller. I think he's a great writer. I just think that there were checks and balances for the Suicide Squad, and I think that I think he was just also like, kind of, I think he was thinking about it strategically, honestly. James Gunn is a very astute and very intuitive individual. I think his choices for the Suicide Squad and him playing along with Warner Brothers really did well for him in the long run, and I think he does his choices very, very strategically, and again, it's worked out for the best for him. Clearly, look at him now. But he is writing and we don't know who's going to be directing, but I would be okay if he decided to direct a Superman movie. Let's be real. I think that would be good. I have no idea who the authority is, but it definitely seems like something, characters along the lines that James Gunn would appreciate and enjoy and want to make a movie about which to make a movie. Sorry, grammar people, sorry. Next, there's Paradise Lost, which is a very interesting title, which I don't know that much about DC, but I do know that there is a Paradise Lost book, of which I have read by John Milton. So knowing what the book is about and knowing about what this show might be about, it kind of makes sense, but I am a little worried that there's not really going to be a Wonder Woman. There's not going to be a Wonder Woman in this first chapter. So that's a Themyscira show without Wonder Woman, or a Themyscira show, a prequel show about before Wonder Woman. I don't know if anybody would be interested in that. He says it's going to be Game of Thrones style. I've not seen Game of Thrones. I am planning on watching it, honestly. So we'll see how it goes. Batman the Brave and the Bold. Let me just show you this picture. There you go. Needless to say, I think I'm a little worried. Next, we have Booster Gold, which I already said, I think Nathan Fillion. A lot of people are saying that Chris Pratt should play Booster Gold, and it would be perfect because he could just jump from Marvel to DC, but at the same time, I don't know. But I think that it should be, honestly, a comedian. Why not John Mulaney? I think he might be a good fit for this. If it's a comedian, I really do think they should go for the comedian, or an older style comedian maybe as well. Oh, even Glenn Howerton maybe. Oh, that would be so funny. But I want Glenn Howerton in the Marvel universe. He deserves good stuff. And then there's Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Swamp Thing. I think it's a little too soon for Supergirl because we are just introducing Superman. I think Supergirl, unless they make the Superman movie first, like they're doing, and then they wait, it's going to be like a year or two after, I think it would be okay. You know what? Scratch that. I think it's fine. Once they establish this one in 2 years, it might be another 2 or 3 years before we get a Supergirl, so I think that would be fine. I don't think it should be 2 to 3. I think maybe a year or two after the Superman movie, Supergirl. I retract any statements about being too soon for Supergirl. I think it's not too soon for Supergirl. Never mind. Bring on the Supergirl. I do think it's a little too soon for Swamp Thing. I mean, Marvel, come on. Werewolf by Night with Man-Thing, and then there's Swamp Thing, and the many times they have tried to do a Swamp Thing, it just has failed continuously. So I just don't understand why they would jump the gun. That's what I wrote that down. I wrote down jumping the gun because I thought I was clever. But that was for Swamp Thing. I don't know if that's a good idea at all. But again, this ain't my job, so what would I know? Well, that was it. Thank you for watching and breaking down the James Gunn DC Studio Slate announcement with me. I'm going to quickly edit this. Oh, actually, I'm going to go record another video, my January month in review, and then what I watched in January. And then I'm going to go ahead and edit this, or edit both, and upload them in their due time. Okay, I'm going to go. My Sushi Beauty links are in the description below. And I will see you next time. You've just been Montified.